We live off-grid in the UK and are about to embark on our biggest challenge yet. Over the last 12 years, we've built a solar power system, an off-grid water setup, and have started growing a lot of our own food. Now there's one thing left to do, and that's to build our off-grid home. Having planted the woodland himself over 20 years ago, Fraser has watched the land develop and change. Since moving here, we've thought about building here, or even here. But our final choice is this spot here, right behind our pond. Our first job is to clear the plot and to create access to it by extending our track.
We're going to be building our off-grid house here. That involves moving a shallow well that's on this bit where an old pond was. I know that sounds daft, building on an old pond and a shallow well. A lot of it's been filled in and it is settling, but the well still remains, so we'll have to fill that in. And that's what we're going to do. We need roof space for collecting water to live, and I think it's going to work well here. We decided to move the well from here to here. We had problems with it drawing salt when we put it in a few years ago, so we backfilled it with clay and found we could use it in winter and in spring to top the pond up, but in summer it runs dry. So this digger is actually a JCB, which is meant to be yellow, but it was owned by a grave digger that painted it black. So I'm hoping that's not some sort of bad omen. It should be able to get us in these 6 foot deep.
Oh, let's talk about the digger. Having the digger has been an absolute game changer for us. If you've been watching our videos for a while, you will know that we have always hired a digger in. It's expensive, and it means that when it's here, it's absolutely non-stop. Fraser works for hours and hours and hours and hours a day because he has to maximise that time. And so having a digger has made a huge difference, and it's just taken the pressure off of projects. We can do it as and when we need to, rather than storing all of the different projects up and then doing them all in one week. So that's been really great. I try not to think too much about the fact that it used to dig graves.
So in order to get the digger down to the right depth that I needed, I had to actually make a shallow grave with the digger and put the digger in its shallow grave to reach further down. A really strange thing I've found about digging these shallow wells is that when you dig them, not a lot of water comes in them at first, and then if you start pumping, that water gets quicker and quicker. It like finds a route and then it channels into it, and this one's just trickling in. You can see little bits where it's just trickling in a little bit. If you keep doing that and it keeps pumping, it finds its way. It's really weird. And the other one now fills up quite quickly, the one that we've been using. This is the pump that we've been using in the shallow well. Did I mention we had a bit of an iron problem? It's not salty at the moment, it's just very irony. Tastes like rust. This is the inside of the well. It's basically a plastic tube which I drilled some holes in. bought pea shingle for this job, which cost me £60. The kids kept playing in it, so I probably lost about 10 of it in the grass. Once the tube was moved, I filled in both holes. So we've got to get rid of this stump so that we can put a track down to get materials in and out. Also our cars, any vehicles that we need to dump hard stone up there. Once that's done, it gives us a bit more access. See what the digger can do now. So the soil from the bank has gone over to fill in where the old well and old pond was to level off for the new house.
One of the problems with doing this as a family with young children is that we are not often able to do projects together. Our kids aren't at a point yet where they can help safely. They're really interested, they're really keen, but it's just not safe for them to be around when there's something like a digger being used. So it's often a case that we have to split up. I look after the kids and Fraser is out doing whatever needs to be done. And when it comes to something like moving a stump, that can be tricky because you end up doing multiple jobs. Really, it was probably a two-man job, working the digger, then it's the power barrow, then back to the digger, then back to the power barrow. But the thing is, the only other alternative would be to have someone else looking after our kids and be doing it together. And that would be lost time too, but that would be a worse kind of lost time. There's a saying, isn't there? Children don't get in the way of important work, they are the important work. And I absolutely agree with that. They're our absolute priority. Everything we do is for them. Yeah, okay, it slows us down. But without them, for us personally, it wouldn't have half the meaning that it has.
So while I'm digging all day, playing with the digger and the power barrow, Rachel's looking after the kids. And it's a team effort because I actually find it a lot more difficult to have the kids. It's mentally tiring because she's doing stuff with them. They're not just sitting on a tablet or something like that. She's baking with them and she's out there with them. They're playing in a paddling pool and keeping them occupied in the sand pit, and she's doing like homeschooly bits with them. They're reading books and they're doing crafts, and there's certain things I just refuse to do. Painting, I won't do painting. I can't stand it. Colouring's fine. Barrow after barrow after barrow of soil. It didn't look like it was that big a job. It was a bank of soil, quite a wide bank, fairly high. I think it took me a day in the end just to move the bank and then with the digging the stump out.
We might have started clearing the space for our house, but there are still lots of other jobs to do too.
Where are all those little strawberries?
And the thing that takes up more time than anything else is growing food. The amount of pests you get when you're trying to grow organic food is absolutely unbelievable. Rabbits, mice, rats, squirrels, and now the mole.
We've got moles and they're a real problem. They keep pushing everything up. This is my life now, shuffling round in the veg patch every morning and evening because of the moles have pushed everything up. I've put traps down, they're useless. The only thing they've caught so far is my finger. Bastard thing. The other annoying one is our potatoes. I put in potatoes and I got the digger out and I made the rows that you set the potatoes on. And I thought, oh good, because rabbits don't eat potatoes. So I did it outside the fenced area, thinking I can grow more in the fenced area and I can grow my potatoes. Apparently rabbits like digging them up, and they really do love digging them up. For some reason they've got a thing about that nice soft earth that I've cultivated. They like scrabbling around in it, digging it all up, and they throw my potatoes out. Some of them have been planted 4 times again. This end is particularly bad. So then what I did is I got wood chip and I started filling between the rows. It makes it harder for them to get to it, to dig into the bank, if you like. That has helped, and I've done that up that end more. They're doing better now, although they're not doing brilliant. They've been dug up 4 times, and obviously they're under stress, and I should have been feeding them with some liquid seaweed stuff, and I haven't, because I kind of got pissed off with it really. So I've got another idea for that anyway later on. It's not brilliant this year. The potatoes have not done well. I tried to do more and I haven't dealt with this situation of rabbits. So we'll get something, but not a lot. You know, little tiny silly potatoes, because they've already gone, the flowers are already coming out and there's not enough bushy green leaf to show that they're really thriving, so they're under stress. When anything starts to go to seed too early, it's generally because it's under a fair amount of stress. So that's what's happened there. It's a shame. But there you go. What can you do? You can't do it all. The other thing that's been really annoying is every time I put seed in, the bloody blackbird comes in and he does this thing. And because our ground is all full of worms and stuff like that, it's all full of, you know, living things. Especially when it gets wet, the ground, they all come up to the surface and there's loads of worms in it. And the blackbird likes doing this with his beak across to find stuff, little bugs in amongst, and he has just basically, what's the word I can use, shifted. He's just shifted all the seed around, broken most of it off, and he's destroyed it a number of times. The strawberries are netted. My purple cabbage is netted. Swede and cauliflower also netted. Because of the pigeons. You can't leave it at night. You can't go, I'll see if they have a little go at it, because the next day it's gone, completely gone. Cabbage, set this early, it's done really well. Netted. I'm just waiting for the cabbage white now to lay its eggs through this net and have a load of caterpillars on it. I haven't seen that many this year. The odd thing is, last year they loved this place. We had thousands of cabbage white butterflies flying around. But the fields of cabbage in around us, no butterflies interested in it. What does that mean? They don't want to eat it. They know their young aren't going to want to eat it. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's so weird. It's so weird. They can fly just over there and get on another cabbage, but they won't. It's obviously, they know it's not right. I find if things want to eat the food you're growing, you might be doing something right. It's like dogs not wanting to drink tap water. They'd rather drink out of a puddle. Sometimes you think, why? It's when you spend all that time covering stuff and you actually manage to get a strawberry. Right, these are quite small strawberries. The ones in there are actually bigger, but I moved them quite late, these strawberries, and put them in this gutter in. No, they're good. These ones actually taste better because they've got more sun The more sun you can give your strawberries, the better they seem to be. A bit too leafy over there. I did plan on moving them and putting on banks, and I didn't get time. Been too busy covering things and uncovering things and then reseeding things to actually get round to doing some other stuff. And then we're trying to build a house. But obviously this is going to be ongoing as well, because we don't want to lose out on this to do that. So we're just doing everything.
One of the best things about the polytunnel and the vegetable garden is that we can really get the kids involved. It's nice and safe, it's a great area for them to be in, and they're really starting to understand what we're trying to achieve in there. It's taken a while because when it comes to planting seeds and nurturing things, that takes a huge amount of patience, and it takes a huge amount of precision when it comes to the planting, and toddlers aren't always able to do that. But as the children are growing, they're getting better and better at it. Do you ever try to do something nice as a family and it just doesn't work out? Because that's exactly what happened with the broad bean harvest for us. So we're all sat there harvesting the broad beans, it's going really well, the kids are shelling them, they're doing a great job, and all of a sudden, about 3 meters away, this wasp nest just absolutely erupts. And so we had to down tools, I had to take the kids away, and we had to go and do something else, and that left Fraser to do some of the best pest control I have ever seen in my life.